So I haven't uploaded a video in a long time because I've been playing this. 2008, damn, this game is like 10 years old. Fossil Fighters is great, and I know that literally no one has played this game in like 6 years. But I don't really care. Alright, what are we doing today? The only real way to 100% this game is to rank 12 every single dinosaur. And yeah, that's pretty hard. If you think of Pokemon, that's basically like catching every Pokemon and then getting every Pokemon to level 100. So what's the fastest way to get experience? Battle this guy. But this guy's pretty hard, so, you know, we're going to do some strategies here. On average, it takes 7 turns to beat this guy with this strategy. The fastest way to do it would be 5 turns. Also, nobody watching this video has any idea what's going on because nobody even knows what this game is. By the way, this game is so good. Like, I'm so disappointed in the 3DS game that like I've just come back to the OG. So why is this boss fight really hard? Well, firstly, this guy, he gets fossil points faster than is possible in the game, and he can store more than is possible in the game, so he's basically God. His two buddies here, Raptor and Dynal, 77% debuff to defense, critical rate, and evasion, and the other one increases their leader by 77% in the listed fields. So, with all these debuffs, what do you do? Now here on turn 3, I'm gonna turtle up. Now you notice that we have a defense debuff, and you know that's kind of unfortunate. This guy at the top, Guanlong, gives me a 90% attack buff. Now, if you'll notice, out of all the buffs and debuffs that these two supports do, none of them are attack. And this is basically to counter the plus 77% defense that the opponent gets. Also, because I'm trying to take out the supports first, I'm gonna want to try and do a lot more damage, since you generally do less damage to supports. Other guy over here increases basically my critical hit rate and accuracy, because, you know, with plus 77% evasion, this guy is really difficult. So we took out both the supports at the exact same time, and this is super important. If you take out one support, the team that loses their member, they get a lot of fossil points, and you know, the more fossil points you have, the better the moves you can use. Of course, you don't want your opponent to get this as often as possible, so by taking out 2 at once, you know, you can basically halve the amount of times they'll have max fossil points. Anyway, we lost our tank, who I didn't even talk about. Doesn't really matter, he's kind of gone now. We transformed into a T-Rex. Don't really ask how this game works, I still don't even know. And we've just got Mr. King Dynal. I'm gonna do this twice, obviously. The first time is obviously just to show what it'll look like, and then the second time is maybe to explain it a bit better. So that was turn 6, and like I said, on average, usually takes 7 turns to beat it with this strategy. There are other strategies which are... There is one particular strategy I know of that is 100% win. You'll absolutely never lose, no matter how many times you get critted, or you could miss a bunch, or like you're guaranteed to win. The only problem is when you're trying to get everyone to, you know, max level, it's kind of like a speed run. You want to do it as fast as possible because that is a lot of grinding. And of course, the other strategy, even though it never fails, it takes, you know, upwards of 20 turns, and that's way too long. Alright, so 20 points, that's pretty good. That's the second highest amount of experience you can get from a battle in this game. The most is 30, so you might think, why am I not doing the 30? In fact, the 31 is actually an easier battle, I would argue. But, given that I have to go through, like, a whole opening sequence, and then a whole, like, some cutscenes, and then credits, and yeah, it takes a really long time. It's just faster to do the 20. Alright, so like I mentioned, Duna, bottom support. Buffs King Dynal by 77% to defense, critical hit ratio, and evasion. And on the other support we have Rapton, which does the same, but debuffs our guy. Now you might think these are really good supports, so why not switch out King Dynal, so that these guys are not using their supports. The only problem is that his supports are actually stronger, and it does include a debuff to our attack, which we don't want. As for our team, which I've appropriately named Dynal Slayers, because this team was literally designed for this fight and this fight only. I mean, it's pretty good against others. These two are just going to be the two that I'm trying to gain the experience for. Of course, they'll get 20 per battle, whether they actually participate or not. It's kind of like an EXP share, but you get the full amount of experience. It's really, really good at this game. Alright, attacking zone. We're going to have Friggy. He's a total beast. 45 defense is okay, but given that we're going to be dropped by 77%, you know, not too much defense to work with. Luckily for him, he has two moves which we're going to basically take advantage of. First is Frozen Armor. Frozen Armor basically doubles our defense. We're just going to turtle up. Now you might think, well, I mean, this guy's a beast. Shouldn't we be attacking a lot? And, you know, while turtling up is nice, we don't have much defense. That being said, he also has this move, Ice Age, which costs 300 fossil points. Now, the problem with Ice Age is that you have to skip a turn in order to use it, because you only get 180 FP per turn, right? And you need 300. The thing is, we can turtle up turn 1 with the Frozen Armor for 50, and after 2 turns, we'll end up with 310 FP, which is still enough to Ice Age. And basically, the whole point of Ice Age is that it hits all 3 of the enemies. It hits the support and the attack. Of course, what we want to do is get rid of the support first, and because the support don't get buffs, it's always the attack zone that gets the buff, then we'll do about equal damage to all of them, because he's going to have a defense buff. But just naturally, like here, Rapton has 520 health, Duna has 500, but King Dynal has 700. So naturally, if we're just hitting everyone for 250, 300 damage each turn, we will take out the supports at the same time. But of course, how are we going to do that with all these debuffs? First, we're going to have Guan here, who is an absolute beast. He gives our attack 90% buff, and that's basically to deal extra damage to supports, because when you attack a support, they take less damage, and if you attack as a support, you deal less damage, right? So we need this buff kind of to counter Dynal's defense buff and to hit support harder. He also has a move for 360 FP where he heals all health and turns into a T-Rex, which has the highest attack in the game, highest attack stat in the game, that's 99, and basically he'll be the one to clean up. Now, you might see Friggy over here is, you know, our big beast that uses Ice Age and cleans the field, but he can actually die. In fact, in most games, which go for 7 turns, he's guaranteed to die between turns 4 and 5. Basically, it's Guan that you want to keep alive. Now, thankfully, Dynal doesn't really, the opponent doesn't really attack Guan ever, because Friggy is a bigger threat, and I kind of don't blame them. Next, we have our boy over here, Orno, who is a really bad dinosaur. Don't use this guy ever, except for maybe this team, who essentially doubles our critical hit rate / accuracy, right? So yeah, we get a negative 77% buff, or it's a debuff to our accuracy, and he gets a plus 77% evasion. So we're gonna try and counter that, and with this particular support, we'll get up to 22% increased accuracy. That being said, Ice Age still has like a 1% chance of missing, but I've only had it happen to me twice, and I've played this game like a lot, so probably nothing to worry about. So again, on average, 7 turns, 5 if we're lucky. We'll get the 90% attack increase, and then we'll get our accuracy. Now another good thing about this team is that we only have 1200 life points, which might sound pretty low, and it kinda is given that his team has like 1720, but you know, going first is always good. Okay, so first turn we're going to turtle up with Frozen Armor. We don't actually have to do this, but given that we have, you know, negative 77% to our defense, it's probably better just in case we get critted, or if we get poisoned, because poison does, it's not like poison does a fixed amount of damage no matter what your defense is. So, you know, we basically want to just reduce all the physical damage we take from hits and whatever. Poison we can't really help. Alright, so now that we've totaled up for a turn, we have 310 fossil points, right? Which is just a perfect enough amount to use Ice Age. Which I said, hits everyone on the screen. Dynal takes 241 damage. The other two, Raptor and Duna, will take a lot more, 298 and 297 respectively. You can get it up to about 350. Ice Age doesn't really... you don't really get crits with Ice Age. In fact, I can't think of a time when it has. Okay, they're going to use their special move after the second turn. It's kind of like their version of Ice Age, Anti-Matter Beam. It's weaker, it hits everyone. We're not really worried about that. It costs 250 fossil points for the enemy team, and it doesn't really mean much. Okay, so turn 2 we used Ice Age, so what we're going to do turn 3, we're going to turtle up again, because we're going to have to wait another turn to use Ice Age again. So we basically just want to keep Friggy alive so that he can get off 2 Ice Ages. Commonly, the enemy might use a quick shout, which is basically 100% evasion, and if that happens, just like spend another turn turtling up and then Ice Age when the evasion buff disappears. So yeah, if they use quick shout, it basically drains all their fossil points. They don't hit you for any damage, but they are guaranteed to avoid an Ice Age should you use it. Okay, so turn 4, we Ice Age again, Dynal hits 244. Raptor hits for almost 300, that's going to KO him, he only has 520 health. Duna as well, only has 500 health. So 2 hits. Now you'll notice they get plus 440 and plus 160. Now, this guy here gets plus 220 at the start of every turn. We only get plus 180, but when their support dies, they get double. Same for us, we get plus 360, they get plus 440, to a max of 600. Now of course, 600 is pretty dangerous because they're as strong as possible. Alright, turn 5, Friggy actually lived, and this doesn't happen very often, I'd say like 1 in 10 games, and we can hit Dynal for a super strong attack, that's 212. Can we actually KO this guy on turn 5? Oh, he has literally 3 health. Okay, this like never happens. Alright, that was really good. Okay, so that's a 5-turn fight. That's the fastest you can get. Actually, it's technically not the fastest you can get. You can have Friggy kill him without needing to do the second attack. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this explains it. And you know, whilst you're doing this incredibly easy 5 to 7 turn battle, you know, all your guys in the back who you're not even using, they can go get some very nice experience. And now you just have to do this fight like another 300 times, and hopefully you'll have maxed everyone up before you hit, I don't know, 100 hours. I'm currently sitting at almost 80 hours, so looks like we've got a long journey to go to get them all. Anyway, hopefully you guys play this. I mean, I'm not promoting the use of emulators. I mean, I actually went out and bought this game because it's just so good. Anyway, this is Fossil Fighters. You guys should play Fossil Fighters. It's pretty good. Not Frontier though, we don't talk about that.